Hi everyone, it's Bethany, BA Crafty Girl, and welcome back to part 2 of my Triart tutorial. And I did Bitty Betty's skin and I did her hair, and her hair is still drying a bit, so you'll notice throughout the video that it keeps getting lighter. I did forget to do the blush on her cheeks, so I'm going to take the SK9 Shell Pink and I'm just going to dab this on her cheeks where I think her blush should be. And I kind of like the dabbing motion. For me it works well. And then I'm going to go back in and blend that in with the vanilla, the SK11. And that's it for that, and then that will dry again. Alright, now we can move on to the heart, and today I'm going to make the heart red, and I'm going to use 2 colors. And the reds are interesting because there's pink reds and then there's red reds. So I'm going to use 2 pink reds today. I'm going to use P2 Permanent Red and P1 Cardinal. So what I'm going to do is lay a base down with my lightest color, which is the P2. And I'm just going to lay all that down, do like a base coat. And you'll notice that I'm not going clear out to the sides because the color will expand a little bit. And now I'll take the other color, the P1 Cardinal, and I'm going to use a circular motion, and I'm going to go in there and outline the heart. And I'm going to continue using the circular motion around the heart. And then I'm going to use the circular motion on the inside. And I'm going to take my lighter color again. And I'm going to blend that together. And there's the heart, and that will dry, and you'll see the blending more as it dries. Alright, and now we'll do her dress, and I've picked blue to do her dress in blues today. And I've picked B8 Light Blue, B10 Chateau Blue, and B9 Baby Blue. And you start out with your lightest color, so I'm going to start out with the B10. I'm going to use the brush end, and I'm going to go in and lay some color down. Alright, so that's the base of her dress. And then I'm going to go in with the middle color, which is the B9. And I'm going to use the brush tip. And I'm just going to go in and do a little bit darker blue. Give it some interest. Okay. And then I'm going to take my darker blue, and since the dress is kind of a smaller area, I'm going to use the fine tip. And I have to say, I really like this feature of this pen because you can get right in there into little spaces. And I really like that. Sometimes though, with the fine tip, you have a little bit of trouble with ink coming out, but not very much trouble. And that's because, and I'll show you, that's because this tip gets its ink from this tip. It doesn't get the ink straight from the well. It has to go through this tip to get to this tip. And sometimes you have to play with it around a little bit so that it's touching in there, but I haven't had very many problems with that. So I outlined with my darker blue, and now I'm going to go back in with my lightest blue and blend that all in, which was the B10. And I'm going to use the brush tip again. And there's her dress. And you can see as it starts to dry, if you want to go back in and blend more, you can. And then since I have my lightest blue out, I'm going to leave her bottom trim white, but I am going to give some interest and outline it a little bit in the blue. And there's a bit of a shadow. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the little leggings, and I picked some purples to do that with. I picked V10, which is Hyacinth, and V8, which is Lilac. I'm going to take the V10 and with the brush tip, and I'm going to give it a base coat. And you could go in and do each little stripe, but I'm not going to. And then I'm going to go with the darker color. And this is the V8. And I'm going to use a little bit of a circle motion. And then go back in and blend it together with my lighter color. So there's her little leggings. And then I was also going to do her little bow, or her little flower bows with the purple too. So go in and do the, when you have like really little areas, you don't have to do all of the blending that you normally would do. So I'm just going to do the petals in the light one, and then the middle in the darker one. And that's pretty much it. I do have her little shoes, and I think I'll do those in the blue color, like the two darker blues. And then I'll do the shading. And then I'll go back in and blend those together. And that's it. And there's our Bitty Betty. She's all done. There's a little bit more of a close-up. And that's pretty much it. I am going to take my Stardust Jelly Roll pin and I'm going to do the polka dots. Just a little bit of glitter. And I'm going to do this heart too. And there you have it. Very cute. Alright, and I do have a little bit of time left on my video, so I was going to share with you some other Pink Cat Studio images. And these are images I've bought. They haven't sent me anything. I just think that they're really, really cute. Along with this image for the Valentine release, there was also this one of her with the pulling the wagon, which I thought was really cute. And then also this one with her on the swing with the teddy bear. And then there's also a teddy bear that can go with it. And then I got these two, and this one is called Lily, and this one is called Billy. And Betty is one of the little kids, and Lily and Billy are the big kids. But here they are dressed up as Alice from Alice in Wonderland and the Mad Hatter. And then I wanted to show you some that I had colored too. So here is the Alice from Alice in Wonderland, and I colored her, and one of the things I did for her was I put glossy accents on her shoes so she'd have black patent shoes. And then to do the black bow, I didn't use blacks, I used the grays. So there's her. And I used the same skin that I used today. Right. And then for the Mad Hatter, colored him in too. And I tried to do some classic Mad Hatter with the green and the brown pants. And then I also tried to incorporate the new one with the orange hair and eyebrows and the eyes. And this one's a lot of fun because his skin is more white. And then on the Digi image, there's stick pins with little gems on top to color. But on mine, I took little bling and I put the little bling on top of the pins instead of coloring them. And I did that with these little bitty blings that my friend Diane sent me from Canada. Hi, Diane! And these are really awesome. I like them a lot. So that's how I did the little blings on his hat. So there's those. And then this is a greeting from image that I did. And this is a stamp. It's not a Digi image. And I just think that she's so cute. And then, and I think I've shown this one before. This is another Bitty Betty image. And I did her hair a little bit different. And I also used different paper on this one, so it kind of made the colors look a little bit different. And then here's another image. This is a stamp. This is from Craft and Kimmy Stamps. They're a Canadian company, and they have lots of cute images too. And I used a At You Spica glitter pen for the tail and the fin. So there's that one. And that's all I have. I do have another Bitty Betty that I did, and this is her at regular size, and this is one that I made her a little bit bigger. So that's the cool thing about Digi images, is you can make them bigger or smaller depending on your project. So please leave comments down below. Please let me know if you liked this, or if you would like some more tutorials, or if there were things that I could do better for next time. thank you so much for staying tuned to part 2, and I will see you later. Bye!